making a move on the outside as Pantoliano. Come on, girl! At the top of the...
What I do agree with you on is that you believe that Ralph did not kill the horse. And I believe that too.
I can't find Ralph.
He sticks to himself nowadays.
There was a fire at the stables, and they lost some horses.
Pyomai?
Sorry, we did everything we could, but she had to be destroyed. She was too badly burned.
In the comforting words of Lois, she had to be destroyed. Tony sees for himself when he goes down to the stables after everything happened.
Ah, Jesus. It just went up?
No, Tom, watch out for the ghost. Butts.
My Natalento cook go.
What's it doing here? Horses like company.
How did this horse come into the Sopranos story in the first place? Ralph Cifaretto's housekeeper, Inez, officially owned the horse for the license and all the official paperwork.
Munoz, as the owner of the winning horse, you'll receive an 8x10 glossy in 2 to 4 weeks.
But for all intents and purposes, it was Ralph's horse.
Fire marshal says it looks electrical. They found pieces of a blown-out light bulb in a stall, and the hay was a natural accelerant. They'll investigate, but it's a formality considering the value of the stock.
It really shattered a rare, vulnerable side of Tony. So much so that he cries in Dr. Melfi's office talking about her. And Melfi even brings up the fact that he never cries openly in her office over people, just the ducks and the horse.
So I wrapped the paper. And there she is. With her head held high.
What are you saying? You think I had something to do with it?
Her ears perked up.
Some point to collecting the proceeds from the insurance money for the fire as a motivation.
The horse gets better and we take out 200 grand in insurance on the race coming up. Suddenly there's a fire.
But Ralph never had problems making money. He even gave Tony an envelope that morning when his son was in really bad shape.
I just came by to give you from the thing.
I could have waited.
At least I'm good for something. Yeah, he's covered on her husband's insurance as far as that goes. You know, I'll take care of the rest.
My kid's in the fucking hospital! I don't hear you complaining when I bring you a nice fat envelope. You don't give a shit where that comes from. What are you, a vegetarian? You eat beef and sausage by the fucking carload.
Beautiful innocent creature. What did she ever do to you?
When Tony confronts Ralph, Ralph doesn't say anything about having something to do with it, and he agrees that it's horrible that it's happened, but he's also dealing with his own personal crisis as his young son remains in the hospital critically injured.
Poor kid will have to learn how to talk all over again. Years in rehab. He'll walk. He'll use his hands.
Things that point to Ralph being the culprit. 1, it's Ralph. We know what he's capable of.
Where is he?
Inside.
Go get him.
The insurance money, but Ralph wasn't broke.
I'm not sure what it is. All I know is fucking Ralph. He's going around bragging about how much they're making.
Yeah, he's covered on her husband's insurance as far as that goes.
What about revenge?
I have come to reclaim Rome for my people. Oh, Tony, Valentina. Valentina, Tony Soprano. I have come to reclaim Rome for my people!
We also have Tony telling Ralph that he's seeing Ralph's immediate ex-girlfriend, Valentina, the same day that Ralph's literally crying over his son Justin.
There's something, seeing that girl you used to date, that, Valentina.
I do think that Tony's grief over Pyomai was genuine, and I also think it was a convenient justification for finally unleashing all of his pent-up rage and resentment for Ralph. That had started even before Ralph killed Tracy.
My crew is in line for the Raritan Township contract, okay?
You're a captain, Ralphie, when I say you're a captain.
And I'm gonna turn up my hearing aid so I don't miss it. Bottom line speaks loudest. Maybe if I met a girl like Camilla, my life could have taken a whole different trajectory.
It's my decision. She fell?
It's my story.
Making you captain. Well, you know what they say. Be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. Ralph Cifaretto, Jonas?
Why don't you stay out of other people's living rooms?
Why don't you stay out of other people's living rooms? I bet Ralph Cifaretto would agree. But if not Ralph, then who or what? Some other explanations. It was a terrible accident.
Fire marshal says it looks electrical. They found pieces of a blown-out light bulb in a stall, and the hay was a natural accelerant.
Polly walnuts.
Please, kid's in the hospital. A little fucking sympathy, huh?
That gives him a pass? I don't care if he's got 100 kids in the ICU with arrows in their head.
She just heard about Pyomai. She's sick about it. Hello?
Sorry, I was thinking about my mother, her skin condition.
He can say he has an alibi. He's been at the hospital with his son, not going out and meeting Corky Iannucci and showing him the barn where Pyomai is so he can burn the whole thing to the ground. I think he's a bit preoccupied.
Did she tell you? My horse died? Pyomai?
Oh, that's too bad.
God, this wine.
There was a fire at the stables. Should they be destroyed?
The Lupertazzi family.
Tony made it right. It's a different one now. I'm not sure what it is. All I know is fucking Ralph is going around bragging about how much they're making.
I'm rich! $5 grand and an ace to one!
An enemy of someone else with horses at the stable. Tony's cigar smoke. Maybe it was the goat, not on purpose, but maybe it knocked something over somehow and that contributed to it. Many people say, well, David Chase said that Ralph was the one who set the fire.
I never had that conversation with David Chase, but I just figured he was so overwhelmed with the terrible tragedy that happened to his son.
My poor baby.
And yeah, so I played it like he didn't.
I gotta go to the hospital.
So, do I think Ralph was behind the fire? No, but of course it's natural to point to him as the prime suspect. My best prediction is that it was what they said it was, a horrible accident. But I think the moment that Ralph decided that he was going to kill Tracy, that was the moment that he signed his own death warrant. Thanks for watching. Now, what do you think? Was Ralph behind the fire?